Testing Ayurveda and Meditation, Day 5. It's already a couple of days, but they are nicely connecting into a journey that has already just 5 steps, but gave me the perspective of how much can happen during 5 days. How much wisdom can we get for just 5 days if we focus on what we are doing as means of meditation, as means of Ayurveda, as means of outlining your day and taking conclusions out of this equation. We have something much more than what we usually do. What we usually do when we unconsciously go throughout the day. And unconsciously, not necessarily in the psychological dimension. Psychological dimension that pushes to unconscious everything that is unknown, cannot be observed, cannot be measured with this mental aspect of us as human beings. And this brings me to what we have in the results for Saturday, for day 5 of this small test and experiment. How many additional elements came up? The regular ritual, this 4 a.m. getting up, 5 a.m., 4 a.m. was this initial step in the day, the step that is repeated on daily basis, 5 or 6 or 4, mostly 4 or 5 or even 3. But additionally, some experiments with what you are drinking, when you are eating, like what you see in here for day 5, it's 7 a.m., some oolong tea, so semi-fermented black tea or green tea. It's almost black tea, but not green anymore. 7:30, it's scrambled eggs, so like this standard recipe for the morning. And at 11 a.m. we were traveling with kids, so we visited some place to just drink some matcha tea with spelt milk, which contains caffeine as regular coffee. And next we just went to eat some lunch. Usually it's lunch, and it's a big one. So it was basically this beef and chicken schnitzel with salads. I try to add as many salads as possible during this part of the day. Then we just ended up in bakery, just taking some croissants with chocolate, and then we went to other place with kids for fun as well, for the chai, but the regular version of coffee, and plus additional hibiscus infusion. Then ginger lemon infusion, and day in the late evening, rye bread with cheese and oat milk, just to drink afterwards. And some activity, as I highlighted in previous one, that it was around 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. some walks totaling in like 8 kilometers. For audiobooks there were 2. One, this spiritual junkie continued by Gabby Bernstein. But this one, from the perspective of getting even more tools to what I already started as a question for me, how I can depict it, how I can depict what is the benefit of going from ego to your higher consciousness. But in here Gabi presents it in very interesting perspective, in a way that is quite relatable for anyone, and it's very interesting extract on the path that you can take to just go out of your ego and see much more. But additionally, as means to connect what I'm doing on daily basis and what I want to do on the spiritual aspect, there was this other audiobook, Zen Entrepreneurship, by Virk Rizwan, and it's basically how to connect business with spirituality. How his journey was to self-develop spiritually and in the same time use the business as the driver, use the business as his meditation technique, basically. Train focus on single aspect, train full focus on single aspect. Do not cut the focus in half for different aspects. Do not split it. Your focus can do great things if it focuses on certain aspects fully. So this one was very interesting and standard one for 9 p.m. bedtime, but the side effects were quite similar, because side effects considered this intake of caffeine, which usually obstructs the respiration, usually if it is with regular milk, the midday sleep not needed because it was exchanged with a walk. So instead of going to sleep, you can take a longer walk, take an energetic walk, take a walk with your kids, which is even more energetic, like running after a bicycle when they are learning to ride a bicycle. That's interesting aspect. More pressure in the mind. What I discovered, it's quite normal with caffeine intake, and quite constructive and responsive as well. Meditation benefits in here more centered but a bit different than previously. Energy was quite stable, and ego this day has been observed but not acted on, as you see. And other aspect is that those durations of elements that has been usually ignited by ego, external or internal, they have lasted much shorter. And what I learned as well from Zen Entrepreneurship during that day were 4 very interesting and important elements that you can implement as well on your path, because it's this knowledge of the East and this connectivity to what we can implement in the so-called West. That's interesting in those combinations, because it's here it is combined, and it is combined into 4 elements. One is intent, so the basis on focus with visualization, creating the image, very lively image in your head, creating this in your mind's eye, and just doing meditation on that image. And meditation in here is twofold. One is with eyes closed, usually in the evening, and second one is with eyes open during the day. Meditation on the mental image that you want to achieve, the business, your creation, what you are currently focusing on as your project, to create the thought forms that then start to roll some scenarios. It's quite interesting aspect. The patterns, additional angle in here is because quite big focus is given for patterns, your patterns, my patterns on daily basis. The patterns that are related to not only our behavioral patterns but as well our energetical patterns that get highlighted in both external exposition but as well some internal observation. As you see in here, it's external patterns in your life and they reflect those energetic patterns that you have. You are given the repetitions of some clues, of some events to highlight. You need to work on that in positive aspect or negative, or this is the element that holds you back. And people patterns often repeat on their own path. That is as well the conclusion, that this is your hero's journey on many levels, not only on this mental aspect level, but as well on other levels, on your relationships level, on your business level, on your job level, on any other type of interaction, in event, thing that can happen for your process as well. But this is very interesting. Another interesting aspect is that usually for something to happen, you need to have the proper technique, proper skills, proper practical skills, and you need to take some outer steps to accomplish these elements that are needed. You probably often see that when you are after something, you are given lessons on permanent basis, especially the business owners. How many times you need to repeat certain scenario, software development, as highlighted in Zen Entrepreneurship. It's constant pace of doing updates on permanent basis just to make this software working, operable, not having bugs, having proper modules, proper functionalities, proper connectivity, anything that can happen. And additionally, there needs to be proper, appropriate timing on your life path. As called in here is warrior's path or career warrior's path. And this timing can lead to those events that can bring you no fulfillment because the timing was not right. It's not like you are doing things wrong. You might be doing things in the wrong moment, or you might be pushing too far. You might be splitting your focus too often to achieve those elements. You sometimes need to work on certain lesson longer to appreciate it. In here there was a great analogy for Tai Chi masters. Why they are masters? Because they didn't stop when they were doing things very good. They did those things very good and better and better and better. And they became the masters. So think about what skill you already mastered or what skill you would like to master. For me, it's a great lesson as well that I need to go back to some things that I left because I needed to add some other elements, add some new shiny elements, like human hero's journey, the path of chakras, like adding on top of them the possibility of creating an avatar that would have not only the map that is this path of chakras where they are, but as well this highlight where they are on their hero's journey for this appropriateness. So that is great guidance, you see? That is great guidance that you start to receive when you start to be open. When you start to work not only on bringing some resources in, but start working on your human hero's journey. When you start dropping those obstacles, and those obstacles are usually you. It's usually your ego that locks you out from those possibilities. The ego that is your energetical pattern with all those energy blockages that you need to work on, that you need to get rid of by loving them, that you need to be consciously aware of to dissolve them. Thank you very much and see you next time. Bye.